We're live.
Are we?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Ascension Astrology Show with Kornelia and Janet. I'm having a laughing moment because I went to get a pedicure this afternoon, or this morning actually, and I misunderstood the lady and what she was trying to get me to do. And my imitation of it was a crack up. And then she cracked me up, and we were already live at the time we started laughing. So we are having fun here today.
So we're starting the show out. Which camera do I look in? This one or this one?
That one's not a camera. That's the screen.
So we're starting the show out already having fun, already having a good time. So as you're coming in, we've got this amazing, juicy vibe that we've got going. And so I just want to say again, you're Janet. And what is it that you do?
I'm an astrologer.
You're an astrologer and
a human design consultant and a Gene Keys ambassador.
Yay. I love that Gene Key ambassador.
I know. I love that too.
I'm Kornelia, and I am an empowerment coach. I'm an ascension guide, and I'm a radio host, which you are also.
Yes.
I'm a co-creator of Heaven on Earth, and you are also that, even though you haven't said it. But that's what the astrology and the human design and ambassador Gene Keys is all about.
Right.
It's birthing this higher level of consciousness that we're embodying here on Heaven on Earth. And so I champion humanity's sovereignty, the authority over one's own life as empowered creators.
That's awesome. That's new. I haven't heard you say it that way.
No,
that's very empowered.
It's not new. It's in my book. It's not new.
It's new to us on the show.
It's just because I haven't said that, but it's what I've done for myself, and it's what I do, for other people. When we work together, it's what it is that we're doing. And part of what today's show is about, you're going to tell us.
I'm going to tell you that today's show, I used the word transformation because I happen to know that the planets that we're going to talk about today, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, and the sign of Capricorn, and what is happening as we get further into 2019, and especially hitting us in 2020, has to do with empowerment. And it is involving a huge transformation in consciousness on the face of the planet. And it is going to strike at the heart of our communities, at the heart of our governments, of all of the institutions that you can think of, whether it's the healthcare, the education, the government itself, military, you name it. If it's an institution, it's likely going to be having some hot buttons pushed for all of us as we move into 2020.
So, which is why it's so important for all of us to release the victim consciousness in all of us, and claim our power, claim our superpower, claim our authority, claim our power in each and every present moment where we feel like we've given our power away. And especially right now, I thought it would be great to talk about it this weekend with this new moon. When is the new moon? Tomorrow, right?
Friday morning, 1:51 a.m. if you're on the West Coast, which would be 4:51 a.m. on the East Coast. So I'm actually flying with the new moon.
Wow. What a perfect thing to do.
I think so too.
That's going to be, what does that say for a new beginning for you?
I kind of wondered, because the two people on the cruise are, spiritual type people. I wonder if they had planned it that way, right? Oh. The first new moon of the first of the new year, the new astrological year.
Yeah. That's cool. I used to plan my retreats around that. I really do plan my retreats around that, like having it be on the equinox or a new moon or a full moon, something to have the stars align with us so that we can have that extra power pack punch that it is that we need to really either release something, let go of something, or begin something new.
Yeah.
But before we get started today, I want to say to everybody, and there's going to be more people joining us here in a little bit, but let's start with a game. I love games. Let's start with a game. Of course, we're going to want you to participate and help us play this game. So the question is, what you don't know about me. And so all of you, because part of what we're beginning in this new earth is we're really learning how to express ourselves fully and trusting that how we express ourselves, how we express ourselves is perfect and it's accepted, even though, we haven't been conditioned that way.
Okay.
Right? So, like, for instance, what you don't know about me is that English is my second language. That's what a lot of people don't know about me. And when I say that, when people find out that really English is your second language, what's your first language? It surprises people because of how well I speak English and all of that.
Right.
So,
but your native language is
German, Deutsche, Kraut.
Not sauerkraut.
Yeah, sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut. It's good for the tummy, for fermentation.
It's a great probiotic.
It is, absolutely. So, and you know what I thought about? I thought, because I recently started learning how to speak Spanish, and I have an app on my phone because I want to be able to share some of the things that I do in Spanish, right? And I thought, God, it would be great for me to learn how to communicate. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to just all of a sudden start making a video and start speaking in German or start speaking in Spanish? How fun would that be? So what is it that we don't know about you, Janet?
Well, I don't know where I want to go with that one, but I can tell you that if we just stick with languages,
okay,
I spoke English right from birth. I mean, that's my native language, but I took something like 6 years of Spanish in school. By the time I was done with high school, I could read Don Quixote in Espanol.
Wow.
And if I had had more time to spend with people that just spoke that language, I would probably have been quite fluent. I was quite fluent, but you know how it would have stuck with me longer, but I didn't use it all that often. So then when I went to college, I decided I wanted to learn another language. I wanted to learn French. And Spanish was so easy and French just seemed like it would be easy, only it wasn't.
Yeah.
French is not easy. It reads one way, speaks another, and you write it yet another. And I had some kind of crazy Spanish, English, French thing going on, and I just finally gave up. And then I decided to learn Italian.
So do you know a little bit of Italian? Do you know a little bit of French?
Yes.
Give us something. Give us something.
In Italian or in French, I know parlez-vous français, but that's about all I remember.
What does that mean?
Do you speak French?
Oh, parlez-vous français?
Parlez-vous français.
Do you speak French?
Do you speak French? And in Italian and Spanish are very similar. So almost anything you could say in Espanol is also in Italiano.
Yeah. German is also a very hard language to learn because of the way that we pronounce things also, right? But what is it that we don't know about you? Hi, everybody.
Let's say hi real quick and then we can do this. So
yeah.
Hello, Debbie Hedden. She says, hello, ladies. Stephanie
Hi.
Coy, hello. Now, Stephanie joins us from Australia. So It must be early morning there for you, Stephanie. Vanita, she joins us just from around the corner here. And Debbie Tibbetts-Tumiel, my traveling partner for tomorrow.
Fun, Debbie.
And into the next week, says, good evening, ladies. And this is the last thing that I'm doing before I go on the cruise tomorrow, or I actually fly out tomorrow. So we are playing a game. If you are just joining us or if you are in the background, because I can see a couple people in the background, tell us do you want them to do it in the chat?
Yeah, do it in the chat. And what you're going to answer is what you don't know about me, what you don't know about me. And you'll share it and then we'll touch on it again in a little bit. And then the other thing is for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, when you're watching this on YouTube, please share with us in the feed on YouTube what it is that we don't know about you so that we can get to know you. And what we would like you to do is we would love it for all of those YouTubers out there for you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because what we're wanting to do is build that channel, and we are going to be, as we're growing, offering gifts and special treats and different things that we're going to be doing. And again, I thought, okay, I want to be known to, oh, there she is bringing another game to the table. So, last couple times we had what if.
Yeah.
And now we're doing
what's your dream?
What's your dream? And now we're doing what you don't know about me. These are all wonderful ways to get started and raise the vibration here on Ascension and Astrology.
Do you want to read what Stephanie said?
Sure, let's see.
Stephanie says, one thing you don't know about me is I can ask you if you would like to eat a hot dog or a meat pie with sauce in Japanese. And she says, it's 10 a.m. here, very respectable time indeed. I'm watching while I tidy up my desk. That's awesome.
That hot dog sounds good right about now.
A hot dog or a meat pie in Japanese. And I so wish we could hear you say that.
Totally.
Because Japanese has got to be a difficult language to learn too. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure I need to know why it is Japanese, right? Why would you want to learn Japanese? Did you live there or have friends that were from there or something like that? So you can just tell us that, Stephanie, in the chat.
And ladies, for all of you that know that Janet's getting ready to go on her cruise, which is going to be fabulous. Her and Debbie are going on a cruise. And so next week, Thursday on Ascension and Astrology, I am inviting you to come back and participate with me because I'm going to be bringing on Sakai. And Sakai is going to help us with stepping into our feminine power more. She's going to be guiding us into a deeper meditation so that we can get in contact with our archetypes, the spiritual archetypes. I met Sakai, and she's part of my TV group that I belong to, and she's fantastic. And that's why I invited her to be a guest on the show. And please come back next week. Support us and show Janet how supported we are in this show, even when she's not here.
Even when I'm not here. Don't leave my Kornelia hanging.
No, don't let me
come visit her.
Yeah, don't let me talk to myself and Sakai, right?
Okay. Yeah, but even so.
Yeah.
Debbie Tibbetts Tumiel, what you don't know about me, that I can play the harmonica and my dog Odie can sing to it.
Wow.
That's fabulous.
Wouldn't it be great to see a video of that?
Debbie, did Terry play the harmonica for you when you came to visit us that summer? Because he also plays the harmonica. Not having any dogs anymore, they don't sing to us, but still, that's pretty cool.
That is, wouldn't it be great to see a video of that, or even see a video of what was it, Stephanie speaking in?
Oh yeah, let's figure out a way that we can do that,
right?
Where they can share the videos with us, and then we can share them on. Oh, cool. Okay, we're on that.
Yeah,
we'll do that when I get back. We'll figure out a way to do that. And Debbie says, and that I need this vacation more than any of you know.
Oh my gosh, Debbie,
that's fun.
I just think it's such a wonderful thing that you two are doing. I was just telling Janet before we got on that she deserves this more than anybody right now to be able to go and do this. What a wonderful gift that you two are experiencing together. So yay for you.
I'm excited. I can hardly stand it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anybody else? No one else is piping up here. So Vanita.
What don't we know about you? What don't we know about you?
Yeah. What don't we know about you? So what comes next while we're waiting for these ladies to speak up?
What comes next is, first of all, do you know that our nickname is called Dynamic Duo? Did you know that?
No. Who calls us the
dynamic duo? Chris Nygaard recently.
Oh, I did see that comment.
She, Chris is one of our old time buddies from way back in the day when we used to, when we first started hanging out during our passion time, and anyway, so Chris commented the other day by saying, the dynamic duo is back. And you know what I said? It was destined, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was destined that we're back, that we're live together. And it was just destined for that to happen.
Timing was everything.
Yeah.
Debbie Tibbetts Tumiel, I was just crying thinking of seeing you, Janet. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to sneak up on you in the baggage claim and just jump on you. Maybe I won't do that because I weigh more than you and I'm taller than you. So I will sneak up on you though.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be so fun for you.
I know, I can't
Both
wait.
of you. So awesome.
We meet up in oh, wait a minute. We don't meet up in Atlanta. We meet up in Fort Lauderdale. I fly into Atlanta. So does she.
Okay. Where does Debbie live? Where do you live?
She lives in Panama City, Florida. So she's already in Florida, but up in the Panhandle.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're needing to get down to the very southern tip by Fort Lauderdale or
Okay.
in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. All right, let's see here. Vanita, great. What you don't know, why are my glasses being bad? What you don't know about me is I can bend my right arm over my shoulder and left arm behind my back and clasp my hands between my shoulder blades. Oh my God.
Wow.
So
love to see a picture.
That would be like taking your right arm back here and see how far away my hands are. Oh, you're almost there too.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's awesome. Diane Kenny, nice to see you out there. Happy Thursday to you too. And let's see, somebody else, Stephanie here. I learned Japanese in high school from year 8 to year 10. I'm not sure what the equivalent in the US is. Probably 8th grade to 10th grade. Is that what you mean? Maybe, because that's, I think, what we would call it. I'm not sure. Okay, age 14 to 16. So yeah, that's about 8th to 10th grade. I remember the hot dog question and how to say hello. I've never traveled out of Australian borders. Wow. We should plan like some big get together somewhere sometime in the future and get everybody together.
Plan a retreat and have a wonderful time.
Debbie Hedden, what you don't know about me is I have chickens I talk to. Are they live ones or dead ones?
I love this.
I love chickens. If you guys don't know this, Debbie, or in the morning show, have you seen Linda Dennis? Linda Crouch Dennis, I think is how she has her name. That's her totem animal.
Chickens?
The chicken.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Wow.
She says, I'm just odd, but that was her totem animal. And anyway, I just thought that was kind of clever.
Wow.
Yep. So thank you, everybody, for sharing. And Diane Kenny, since you just joined us, what we were talking about is a game we were playing. And it was what you don't know about me.
What you don't know about me. So we want to know, Diane, what we don't know about you. So this is all helping you to express yourself more fully and just, all part of getting to know each other. What you don't know about me is that I've had a baby
on every day of the week.
Really?
7 kids? Wow.
A baby on every day of the week. That is extraordinary.
That is extraordinary.
Wow.
That's a wow. But
that's a wow.
You know what? But you know what's extraordinary too about that is that I've had 4 babies and all of them were born on Thursday.
That's extraordinary.
All 4. And they weren't planned for Thursday. They just all seemed to come on Thursday.
Wow, that is extraordinary.
That's awesome, Diane. Thank you for sharing that with us. And Debbie is in Lynn Haven, Florida. My bad. She's not actually in Panama City, but that's the closest big city I could think of. Mm-hmm. So there we go.
Yeah, awesome. Wow. Yeah, that just made me think of, you had 4 babies on Thursdays. I was born on a Tuesday and I used to have a dog named Tuesday, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that I was born on a Tuesday and that, later on I found that out. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. You know what else is weird? Is that all 4 of my kids and my husband are working 9 life paths in numerology.
Wow.
There's this lone 6, me.
Wow.
To balance out all that 9.
Well, 6 is also the physical body. Mm-hmm. 6 also represents the physical body. Mm-hmm. So did Camilla just join us?
Hi, Camille.
Camille, we're playing a game, and the game is what you don't know about me. Please share with us and let us know what we don't know about you.
In the meantime, while we're waiting for Camille to do that, let's dive into some of the things that we want to talk about today, besides the fun stuff. And actually, astrology is fun. To me, it's fun. But some of the things that are coming up for us as we move into the end of this year and especially into 2020 are huge dynamics that I think I shared last week with you all that we haven't seen on this planet since the year 534 BC.
Hold that thought. You know what's so interesting is that Camille just brought it back for me. Thanks for saying that, because you know what my word is for the year?
What?
Wow. Wow. And so Camille just brought it back. She said, wow. And I'm like, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's my word.
So what's happening now on the planet hasn't happened before. When?
So next year,
Next year.
as we move into 2020, literally, as we get into December of this year, it sort of begins in that Jupiter, who is right now in Sagittarius, moves into Capricorn alongside of Pluto and Saturn. As the year goes on, and especially I think it's March, May, and July of 2020, the three of them are going to conjunct. They're coming together as a trio. Now that is what hasn't happened in that's what, 1600 some years, 2000 years, some long period of time. And the last time that the three of them were together, it was at the dawning of the civilization that we know of as the Babylonians. So way back.
Wow.
Right? Within 100 years of the establishment of Babylonia and the Babylonians came the Code of Hammurabi. And the Code of Hammurabi was the first time in history, at least up until that point, where a civilization agreed to a set of laws. And the laws pertain to things that are very similar to the things we talk about now, right? Theft, incest, marriage, properties, all the different types of laws that you can think of were established in that period of time in the Code of Hammurabi. So as soon as I saw that, I went, oh, wow. It's really interesting because over the centuries, since laws became a part of our vernacular, a part of our awareness and our expression, they have come to be, can I even say this on live air? They've been bastardized. And they have been used unevenly across races, across the sexes, and not just like they are today specifically, but throughout history. Many times other races, whether it was the Irish, whether it was the Italian, the Polish, as they, were coming into our country. And so I can only speak to the history here in this country. They were marginalized or their rights were being trod upon. Just like now we say this is happening with people who are of a different religion, say the Muslims or the Islamic people, and also the history of Black people. So it should be an interesting year as if we look at laws, what I think you're going to see is an establishment that is going to upend those laws. And I don't think it's going to happen all at one time. But I think we're already seeing this building up where we can see very clearly right now the college deal, right? And I'm sure you've heard about this where stars were bribing people because they had money. They were bribing college athletic coaches to get their children in, or bribing people who proctored the ACT tests or the SAT tests so that their kids would get better scores, and how uneven that is, right? Because then, everyday Joe, who might have way more ability to get an education and use it, was not getting that same kind of advantage. So we can see that there's this unevenness. So I would say that that we're seeing already the blowback from some of that, where these things are already, that disparity between the sexes, the disparity between those that have and those that don't. The imbalance is so in our faces that the next thing you're going to see with the coming together of these three is going to be the attempt to bring that more into harmony and balance.
Yeah.
It may take some time. I mean, the Code of Hammurabi took about 100 years to bring into, so I'm going to give it maybe 10 years for now because of the way time is sped up. So I don't think it's going to take us 100 years to get there, but it may take some time to get the laws on the books or to come to an agreement as a collective that the laws we have on the books that do protect equality are actually applied equally.
But that's only going to happen, Janet, if each person claims their own sovereignty, if each person claims their own authority, and if each person, releases the codependent
victim,
that all of that right now, that we don't have to wait for years and years and years and years. That's why whenever we're triggered, even with this new moon this weekend, this new moon really is about, releasing your codependency, releasing the energy of the past, so that you can really fully step into your sovereign power, and that you can be yourself in all of your relationships. Where before, when we've had guilt, when we've had shame or limitations from our past based on our family, based on the lineage that we've had, right? So like, if we fully expressed ourselves in our family, then they may not love us for really standing up for who it is that we really are. So we made ourselves small, and we didn't shine our light because we want to be loved.
Yeah.
We want to be loved. So we kept that limitation. But what's really, 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 really important right now in this new beginning with this new moon is that we release the codependency, that we express ourselves fully in all of our relationships, the relationship that we have with ourselves, with our source, with our sovereignty, and claim that and own that. And any place within ourselves where we're not, that we release that and use whatever triggers are happening for us in our lives, because they're here to serve us, so that we can then claim our sovereign power. Because with that sovereign power, then with that authority, with that knowing that you matter, that you have confidence, and that you have a healthy self-esteem, and that you have healthy self-worth, that then you can take that energy and apply it to the laws that you're talking about and start really making a difference. But we can't do it if we're still blaming and pointing the fingers outside and saying they, when it's really up to us, to save ourselves. Is because, like you've heard me say before, that the Savior is already here. It's in each and every one of us, and nobody is coming to save us, because we all are capable of saving ourselves. We're all capable of healing ourselves. Doesn't mean that we don't have mentors, doesn't mean that we don't have coaches, because everyone, works so well with mentors and coaches. But really, well, right. I shouldn't say everyone, because there may be some people that don't, but I just know, people that when you're hanging around your coaches and your mentors, you really aspire higher than when you're working alone. And that's really the thing. I believe that, you should have a business coach, have a life coach, have a health coach, have, coaches, to people, supporters to really help you.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to say that about the claiming of our sovereign power in response to what it is that you say. And are you feeling that is in alignment with what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, because the only way out of these issues, is for us to recognize that we are the ones, right? There's, like you say, there's no savior coming. And so the best way forward then is for us to each claim our own responsibility in this, and our own, sovereign, the word means self-reign.
Yeah.
Self-rule.
And that's why it's like, that's the main thing. And so even if your mantra this weekend for the new moon, I'm going to give you all a couple more mantras later that we can use. One of the things that I'm going to be bringing is mantras. I'm going to be bringing games. I'm going to be bringing fun, and I'm going to be bringing, because these are all things that I use for myself and my clients. But even if this weekend for this new moon tomorrow, that you just have a mantra and have the intention that you're ready to claim your sovereignty, and that you're stepping into your sovereign power, into your sovereign authority, because again, that's helping you self-rule, right? And if you just use that as your mantra, because that's really going to, again, change the trajectory within your physical body, and everything's going to line up then to meet you, that you don't want to be dependent upon anything or anyone outside of yourself. You want to self-rule. You want to be sovereign. There's a couple things that couple good movies to watch, not movies, but like on Netflix. Yeah. On Netflix, you know, the movie, it's not a movie, it's a series, The Crown.
Oh, the about Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I watched that whole series.
Me too. I love that so much because again, they're talking about the sovereign. They use that word. And so when we really use the word the sovereign, and that when you know and feel that you are sovereign within yourself, that there's no one outside of you that has any power or any control over you unless you have given them that. And now is the perfect time to claim your power back. And that is the other mantra that I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you another mantra that you can use at any point in time to whenever you feel triggered in your relationships or in your family or anything that's happening outside in the world where you feel emotionally triggered by a limitation or something that you want to move beyond. You then say this mantra and claim back your sovereignty. But one of the reasons, Janet, is that I wanted to talk about this subject is because I wanted to talk about what I was shown. And I carry this in my wallet, okay? Because I always want to remember this. So I'm
what you were shown, how, when, by whom?
I was shown this. You know, I saw this as a metaphor last year in October for the time period that we're in now, 2019, but also ongoing. But this is what I was shown. And as soon as I saw it, I was out. And when I saw that, I came home and then I wrote this down. And so here it is. And so let's see. And so this right here, the square, and it's perfect right now because we're in the month of April and it's all about structure and really embodying new structures and setting new structures. So when you see this square, the square represents the earth, possibly it represents the land, and on the land you see the house. You see the house, and that's where we live. And then what's written here, this is called hoarding. This is called hoarding. And then what that horseshoe is here is the toxic land, the land that's toxic that we're learning to purify. And then what this says right here is the old structures coming down. And the old structures coming down is all about our belief systems, our blockages, our habits, anything from within ourselves, but also on the world at large. The old structures are coming down. And then we have the fire. And the fire is our anger, our rage, our fire that purifies all of this so that we can create the new world. And when I look at this, I see that this is actually our physical body, because our physical body is the house.
It's the vehicle.
It's the vehicle. Our physical body has the toxic emotions, the toxic thoughts, the limiting beliefs, the negative limiting beliefs. We've made choices in our consciousness many times on running out, not having enough. So we're hoarding on, we're holding on, we're hoarding. And then
which is a greed model.
Which is a greed. And we're coming from a lack consciousness, which isn't true, right? Because, you know, when you really know that in this moment and any moment, how amazingly wealthy, how amazingly worthy, how amazingly abundant you really are, and start making choices based on that rather than the lack. Again, that's the old structure that's coming down here again. And then, you know, with the fire, anger is one of the greatest fuels that you can use to burn that shit up and really release the energy. That's anger is, I love anger. And that's part of the reason why when I wrote my book, Peace, the Flip Side to Anger, that's usually how I clear energy, how I move energy within my own rage. When I see the injustice happening and I get angry, and then I take it back home, and then I do the energy work and I do the alchemy. What is it that I'm really angry about? And usually what I find is what I'm angry about is something that I feel powerless about, something that's an injustice, that there is a truth underneath my anger that hasn't been communicated because I haven't known how to communicate it because I'm angry. I'm angry right now. And underneath that anger, there is something that wants to be said that I haven't said because I didn't know how. And first I have to know how to communicate, but first I have to let go of the anger because that's part of the old bullying. It's the bullying, the anger. I'm not going to continue on projecting my anger onto you and continue on doing the same thing that we've always done when we started war, with either our voice, with our verbal, or throwing things or killing people, right? With anger, is that we have to take responsibility for our own house, for our own structures, for the toxic land, the emotions that are within all of us. And so that's why I carry this within my wallet, because this is our house. This is what it is that we're doing. And we are each releasing the old structures, clearing out, letting go, burning down, taking out, releasing, letting go, so that we can, again, envision a beautiful new earth, build a beautiful new earth that is our true organic nature and what it is that we came here to do. But right now, it's going to get messy before it gets nice. And I think we just need to be aware of that. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation today, and to kind of give a visual. We just need to be aware that it's happening. It's, things are going to get a little bit more messy than, before. Like you said earlier, you don't know how long it's going to take, but it begins with each of us, with each of us doing our part. And when we can learn that our anger is our fuel, the fire, it's the fire that's going to help burn burn this down, and feel okay with it, then it's
going to help you ascend.
It's going to help you, and it's going to just make things easier, because a lot of people feel bad when they get angry, right? They don't feel good about their anger.
Well, you don't want to live in anger, but you want to be able to use that anger to transform.
I want to talk about this is what happened to me last weekend. I lead this mastermind call, and on the mastermind call, I spoke about the elephant in the room.
Who was the elephant? What was the elephant in the room?
Well, it was. I spoke about the elephant in the room, and there was the elephant was that there was a lot of non-valued energy in the room that needed to be addressed. That the value wasn't being seen, the value wasn't being appreciated, the value wasn't being, so it was the non-value was the opposite of that. So I spoke to that, and I spoke on that, and then at the time when I was speaking on it, I really didn't know how people were going to perceive me. And I didn't know how are they going to like what it is that I had to say, or how are they feeling about it. And I certainly didn't think about any of these things, but I just spoke about it. And then it was just like looking at the looks on their faces, their faces were just like, flat, right? And I'm just like, oh my God. So then when the call was done, which thankfully it was done in an hour, which is a great call, by the way. I love this call. When it was done, the next morning, I thought about it, and I thought, wow, I didn't get any feedback from anybody. And I'm thinking, are people pissed off at me? Is everybody like really pissed off at me right now? Are they going to still talk to me? This kind of thing, where you second guess yourself and you doubt yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I had that going on, and I said, wow. And what I did with those thoughts, I said, Kornelia, just trust yourself, because you were intuitively guided to speak to this, and you spoke to it. And Now you're only second guessing yourself because you stepped outside of your comfort zone, and people didn't say anything to you. So your ego is like wondering, are you okay? Right? Are you okay? And so I'm like,
are you banished now?
Are you banished now? Are you not loved anymore? And so then I thought, and then it was just like, just trust yourself. So I trusted myself. However, that afternoon, I went to go to this party where I spoke at this place, and there were 45 people in the room. And as an empath, I feel the room and I feel the people. And so then I'm speaking, and after that event was over, now I had the event of the people and then the event from the night before. And suddenly I felt this anger rising up in me because from the night before and then from this day. And even though it was all fine, but I was feeling the depth of my emotion.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I was feeling the depth of my emotion. And all of a sudden I felt angry because there was injustice that I was personally triggered by, that I was feeling this. And so then I'm driving home in the car and I'm going, ah! And I'm going, what is it that you're so angry about? And then I spoke about the injustice of what I see. And, this is what I was angry about. And I said it out loud because that's how I process my anger. And part of why this is so important is because when we speak to the injustice and when we acknowledge what we each are triggered by, that's our unique message that we're bringing to the table, because there is a new way now. There's a new energy that you're embodying, because once the injustice has been acknowledged within you, then there's a new template that is now taking over because light is coming into that space, right? So, and then sure enough, the next day, when I move into my anger, then usually a day later, then I move into my feminine side, and then I move into, and I had some tears, and the softness in me, and I was feeling, a little bit emotional, feeling some tears around it. And I had that. And then, it was interesting because then all of a sudden, a couple days later, all these testimonials came in. All these testimonials came in from the leadership call and saying, thank you, Kornelia, for what you did. You were fighting for us all. Thank you so much for saying what you did. Thank you for
That's awesome.
It was like, and the whole time I doubted myself. But this is what we all go through.
Yeah.
We all go through this. And that's what I'm talking about, this leadership that we're all being asked right now to really fully step into this leadership and to trust ourselves, that when we're being called to speak on something, or when there's an elephant in the room, or when you feel like, no, I don't want to say anything. No, is to really speak up and be the leader in your own life, be the hero in your own life and speak up to it. If you're being asked to, we're not living in comfortable times, ladies and gentlemen. We are not.
We are so past that.
So anyway, this is part of, using our emotions to express ourselves fully. And right now, with this new moon, embracing the depth of our emotions is really key. Not suppressing anything, and even saying it out loud as a mantra. That's one of the things that I did in my membership. Then I take that and I write out the mantras for the group. And the mantra was, I experience the depth of my emotion. I dive deep into the depth of my emotion, because once you do that, you are fully present with everything that's there. And when you think about it, prior to us experiencing the depth of our emotion, there was too many things to feel. There was too many things to feel. We have to do it in increments, like how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? We have to do it in increments. We have to do it just a little bit at a time, because our physical body, it's just too much.
And there is so much going on.
So what do you think about all what I said?
I think it's profound.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking the fact, you guys don't know this, but I know this about her, is that she's a provocateur. Right? You are a provoker. She carries that energy, that signature in her DNA, in her human design chart, in her gene keys. And it's not surprising that she would speak to something like that. And then in this case, the provocation didn't, get anywhere, at least not on the surface, but later you get to see the results of that provocation. And it has its purpose. It's meant to get people to see themselves more clearly.
Well, and that's part of the reason why, I mean, again, we all want to be liked. We all want to be loved. But we also want the truth. And one of the things that I bring is the truth, is that this is the part. It's like, bringing the truth, speaking the truth, knowing that, and you have to find out what your own truth, what truth means to you, because, there's your own personal truth, and then there's universal truth, and and the truth is constantly changing because we're continuously evolving, but we have to have the courage to speak the truth. And that's also part of this new moon, this new beginning, is really being able to speak the truth, but speak it with love and kindness, speak it with compassion, and speak the truth. My talk this weekend was about unconditional love. And it was really amazing because I didn't know that I was going to be talking about this, but watching the audience, seeing the audience in the room, and, there were a lot of people in there in the audience that were, 50 and plus. So 50 and plus. So think about this. Our generation, our parents, they certainly weren't raised and born in unconditional love. So now there's a person up there on the stage talking about unconditional love. And so can you imagine the looks on their faces of, what is she talking about? Unconditional love. In the old world, if you're a good boy and you're a good girl, and if you love me and if you do what I say, then I will love you.
I will give you candy.
And I will, that's that condition. But in the new world, we have to be authentic and practice what it is that we teach and preach, and what kind of world that we want to live in. And the kind of world that I represent is heaven on earth. And that is every moment, you have to bring yourself into that, and the unconditional love that we want to see in the world. And it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable because we're still living in a world where there is so much injustice going on. So.
Wow. That's a mouthful.
That's a wow. See, that's the word.
That's a wow.
That's a wow.
And so I'm going to inject some levity here.
Please
if
do.
I can.
Please do.
Camille put in here that she's living a life path numerology 1. She has 8 cats, 1 dog, all rescues. Together we make a household of 10.
Nice.
That's a lot of kitty cats.
Wow.
That's a lot, and 1 dog, poor dog.
Then it's so the way I would read that. So you have 8 cats. So it's 8 feminine, because the feminine energy, right? And then including you, 9, right? But the dog, the unconditional dog, one was the dog.
Dog
a male?
Is God in the mirror.
Yeah, totally.
Dog,
right?
God in the mirror.
Yeah.
So everything, all those words that you just said, could be the buzzwords for the sign Aries, where the new moon is. Courage and stepping out, self-love, acceptance, and so letting go victim energy, standing up in your truth. All those things have to do with Aries energy, Mars energy in Aries. And so it was quite profound there. And
well, you know why that is.
Why? Because you have Aries on the rise.
I have Aries on the rise.
She's rising sign Aries. She's speaking her own language here. But while you were talking, you guys could probably see my face. I go through various faces while she's talking, because I swear she says something and it connects with something in my head, and or has me bringing more information in. And one of the things that I was thinking about is the sign Capricorn, where Pluto, Saturn, the South Node, and ultimately Jupiter, as we move into December, will be, and where that triple conjunction is taking place in 2020, is feminine. Mm-hmm. Capricorn is a feminine energy. And, I can't help but notice, dog is a boy, 3 female cats, 5 male. So I can't help but notice that it is the patriarchy that is taking the beating. Right? The feminine is rising. It's the patriarchy that's, having to deal with what is ultimately going to be a new world. And I've said this before, and I think it's probably cutting edge. No one else will probably ever believe this, but you guys hear this when I talk in the mornings, is that I even think Saturn is a feminine as opposed to masculine. We always think of Saturn as the taskmaster in masculine.
Do you want to know what my anger and my rage and my injustice was about?
What?
Was about the beating of the feminine.
Mm.
The lack of the feminine being honored, the lack of the feminine being valued, the lack of the feminine being celebrated, absolutely celebrated. The value that the feminine has in who she is, and when she is undervalued, that's where my anger was. You don't see this anger now because I've got a smile on my face. But that's where it was, and that's where I saw it on the call that night, and that's where I saw it in the group. And that was my rage and my injustice, is because what was it? The heiress energy. Heiress, right?
Eris, the discordant.
Yeah. So, because that's me. Is like, really, I'm going to be, literally going, and I'm going to go to the depth of that and bring that to the light. And so that energy where the women haven't been celebrated, where they haven't been honored, where they haven't been valued. Women work so hard. They work so hard. They've had so much to bear. And I just don't like it when I see that women kind of like shun it off, or that like they don't really celebrate themselves, and they don't really know their value, and they don't really know their worth, and where they're not really when I see that, that's when I call injustice. And it just makes me want to work more on celebrating women, celebrating the amazing goddesses that we are. That's one of the reasons why Sakai, who's coming on next week, she's coming on and she's going to, do this meditation with us about our feminine archetype. And so who are the archetypes that you aspire to look to, or that you look to, then when you come back, Janet, I'm going to bring us some spray for a feminine archetype that I absolutely resonate with, and I know you do too. But this is the part, is that we have to be in our triple energy, and that is to be our goddesses, and to be celebratory, and to be to really love being a woman in this day and time, to totally own your power, to own your authority, and know how much value you have and how much you bring to the table, that it cannot even be compared. The Dalai Lama said that it's the Western woman that's going to save the earth. He said, save the earth. Change the world. It's the Western woman. It's the woman that's going to be the one that's going to make sure that all the children get fed. It's the woman that's going to be the one that's going to go, let's make sure that this money gets all spread around so that there's not homeless people. It's the women's ideas that have solutions that will solve so many problems. But if women are still keeping themselves small, or not standing in their power, not standing in their authority, not having the money they need in order to do what it is that they feel that they want to do, it keeps them in poverty and keeps them small. Women's ideas need to be funded. Women are just absolutely amazing, and women are smart with money. And so that's part of my thing, is that I want to help educate and empower women, shine the light on women, so that they can really be the amazing women they are, because each and every woman has exactly what it is that's needed for this earth to move into her rightful abundance in match, because it's, as long as the woman is coming from that high value, that high authority, that amazing confidence, and she's making choices that reflect that, that's the truth.
Right. And nothing she's saying is about devaluing the masculine either. No. It's not about that at all. We've done this, in the 60s, and and 70s, a lot of the blowback against, burning your bras and all that kind of stuff was a rejection of the masculine energy. So we're not advocating that, but the masculine doesn't have the same kind of issues in asserting his power as the feminine has had.
We all have masculine and feminine traits.
Yes, we do.
I'm speaking to the women, the people that have feminine bodies. I'm speaking to those people because in order for you to really know what a woman has gone through or has had to go through, you need to be in a feminine body. Men just don't know what women have to deal with sexually, what women have had to deal with financially. Men just don't know that. I love and adore men. What I'm speaking to is the women that have feminine bodies that came into this life with a feminine body. And that's what I'm speaking to. Those are the women that I'm speaking to. But know this, that the masculine action that you're taking, is a masculine energy. So within yourself, anytime that you're taking an action, that's always going to be a masculine energy. It's never going to be a feminine. The feminine in you is the receiver, and the masculine in you is the action taker. So whatever action you're taking is always going to be a masculine energy. And because we all have both. So the feminine is, I can relate to what Kornelia is saying. I have gone through. Awesome, Camille.
Oh, look at this. She said, I've gone through a transition over this past weekend and past week over the same thing, being marginalized, not valued. Moved through it today, awoke early to very deep sadness to what was lost, but appreciate what I have learned from their pain, being thankful that I can use this to empower myself through love to restoration and abundance.
That's it. And, that's so beautiful, Camille. Thank you for doing the work because, as we each are, doing our own inner work, this is what's going to change the world. This is what's going to ripple out. And the fact that you're cleaning your house and bringing that unconditional love to yourself and
dealing with the
toxic land, the body, releasing the old structures, letting go, speaking to the injustice, calling your value, calling your honor, stepping into your sovereignty. That's what's going to create the new world. And that's why it's so important that we keep shining our light.
Wow. We crossed a lot of territory today.
Good subject, wasn't it, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just in closing, because it's already 4 minutes until 5.
Wow.
Just remind you that, or just keep reminding yourself that in order for this Aries rebirthing new energy, that something must be destroyed, right? There's destruction and there's demolition,
fire,
immolation before the rebirth can take place. And don't let fear stop you from releasing that which is no longer serving you.
And I just want to say, there's so much fear in the collective right now. The reason why I know that is because this past week, I woke up in the morning and there was a tremendous amount of fear that I felt. And that never happens to me because I usually, when I wake up in the mornings, I'm excited to get out of bed. I can't wait to get started. I'm ready to go. I'm super excited. And I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And before I could even get on with it, I had to sit down. Really, it was huge. Wow. There was so much fear because I said it. I said, I'm scared. And I'm like, wow, what about what? And so then I did the work. So this is the collective fear that's out there. I want to give everybody this empowerment mantra, everybody. So whenever you find yourself in your victim energy and you're feeling victimized with anything that's going on, whenever you're finding that, is that you want to use this mantra to call back all of your power. And that is, I call back all of my power, all that was taken from me, all that I gave away, and all that I lost.
You know what? I'm not going to type this while you're talking. We'll post this up for you afterwards, guys.
So I call back all of my power, all that was taken from me, all that I gave away, and all that I lost. I call it back from every time, space, or dimension. I call it all back to me now, as it was, as it is, and as it shall be. And if you use that, have that, write it on a little card like this. If you use that anytime that you're feeling, victimized, like I said, or you're feeling like you're not in your power, you're not in your sovereignty, you're not in your self-rule, use this mantra and call it back and claim your power again, your inner power, not to rule over anyone, but to control yourself and to step into your truth.
That's beautiful. So we'll post that up on the astrology or Ascension and Astrology page. So we are at the end of the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do me a favor and tune in next Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast time, Ascension and Astrology with Kornelia and Sakai. A Sakai or Sakai?
Sakai.
And please do that, right? Support her in my absence. I won't be there. I'll be there in spirit.
Sounds good.
Actually, I'll be somewhere in the Caribbean.
You'll be, drinking a margarita or something. And we're going to be doing another game, and we're going to be, embodying our goddess archetypes. So, come to the show.
All right. Thanks so much. You guys have a great evening.
Mwah.
See you in 2. I'll see you in 2 weeks. She'll see you next week.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.